All right, I'm going to begin the countdown timer and then we will begin. I'm going to start it at 1 minute. All right, welcome everybody. We are here live for Campaign for America, episode number 2 with Dennis Andrew Ball and a young woman by the name of Amber Caseta Martinez, who's going to share her story with us. Dennis, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about Amber and what's going on with her. Unmute yourself, Dennis. Unmute yourself.
I want to welcome Amber to the Campaign for America, and I want to introduce her as a vital worker in the path of truth to become, as we continue down this path, a real force for change in America, especially with the judicial system as it relates to children. She has a story that needs to be heard. And I know we don't have a whole lot of time today, but I want to thank you, Stephen, for it. And then we are talking about doing campaign rallies at airports in Florida very soon, and then to Nevada with you and others.
Sounds like a plan. And I've invited Amber to our Sunday podcast as well to share her story. So she'll have that forum as well to really go into it.
Good.
So,
all right.
Would you like to get started, Amber? Kind of briefly give our viewers a rundown on your story and kind of start at the beginning and how this all started?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to say first, it's great to be here. I thank Dennis for inviting me out to speak about the devastating effects that this has on our foster care system. And to give you guys a little bit of stats, about the foster care system and what we know as the pipeline to the prison. By 17, over half of the youth in foster care have already experienced an arrest, a conviction, or an overnight stay at a correctional facility. 90% of our youth within 5 years of foster placement will enter the justice system at some point in their life. We also know that our female foster youth are 10 times more likely than their non-foster peers to commit a crime, while males are 4% more likely. We know that 80% of our foster youth go to death row here in Florida. It's just an atrocity. I do have my own case, very devastating. I was a victim of domestic violence, and they took all 7 of my children. They never offered me any help. I got a generic case plan. I did everything they asked within 4 months. They considered me a superhero mom. My children would endure a lot of abuse within the system. And when I started speaking out, they retaliated against me and cut all contact, not only with the children, but the care providers that are essentially housing the children.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That's
not right.
No, it's not. I have an autistic son. He's 15 years old, under the care of the Department Family Support Services here in Pinellas County, Florida, who's allowed him to overdose twice under their care, sell drugs out of their ADA group home. Anybody that doesn't know what an ADA group home is, it's for special needs children. So not only are they endangering his life, but they're endangering every child's life that is in that home. you know, it's just been crazy. My son had gotten beat up by the Hillsborough County bus driver. I demanded justice for my son. I took it to 8 on Your Side, a local news station here in Florida, who accepted it, and they shared his story, demanding justice for him. I just thank them so much for that. However, after that, the caretaker would receive threats from the department saying if she had ever spoken to me again, she would be put in jail for a year. Her biologicals would be taken away, and she would not be able to adopt my children. So it's definitely scary when you speak out.
Right.
But unfortunately, unfortunately, here we are, and this is what it's come to. We have to. Everybody should know about this. There's no denying it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I can confirm what you're saying about the retaliation. We've seen this with every single case that we've had on our show, and covered, like, the Angela Freiner case, the Camp Center Reggie Bowles case, and many, many others. This is a consistent tactic that we're seeing that they use. So I can confirm that this is happening, folks, because I've seen it with all these people's cases, and it's not hyperbole. It's really happening. These bastards are racketeering for the grant money for the kids.
Right.
Absolutely.
Destroying families, trafficking.
It's being paid for by the American dollar.
Yes.
By our tax dollars, folks. Yeah. Our tax dollars.
Title IV Social Security money.
Absolutely.
The states are being rewarded for this. This is appalling to me. I told Amber earlier today just how angry I am from what I've heard and just learned here in the last 24 hours in her case. I recognize exactly why the mama bears are unhappy and very angry. This kind of smacks in the area of mothers against drunk driving, why they would be unhappy with their kids getting killed by drunk drivers. Well, they're getting killed by government agents and the people who use, abuse, and misuse the American people as cannon fodder. And this is what we're dealing with. This is America today. This is appalling. I'm angry. It's time to change it, and we will.
Absolutely, Dennis.
Yeah, people are speaking out. I think more now than ever before, And just like the last year, it's really exploded. Like how many people are speaking out now.
Oh, this is undeniable. Everybody knows this is happening. From high up to low down. We've been screaming from the rooftops for some time now. It's time for action. Enough is enough, and it's time to save really the family dynamic as a whole. My worst fear is that if we can't stop this, our generations to come will not know what the family life was like today.
Well, there won't. I mean, I fear there won't be any future generations if we don't fight this now. There won't be any left to fight for, because look what they're doing.
Right. As a matter of fact, Jesse Ventura has done programs and videos where he's gone out and researched and seen these FEMA camps with plastic coffins piled up high. I believe that there is something very evil to everything that we're now dealing with, as if the Nazis had reinvaded America or invaded America through their contacts and what has going on in Europe. This is go time. I want to say, too, if anybody's afraid to go to jail, get out of our way. You've got to have an armor mentality now. There's no excuses here. There's no him and Han. This is
do or die
with it.
Do or die.
This is the campaign for America. This is for America.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, definitely.
And I haven't, that's just not on people's agendas today. So my heart is always with Dennis Ball, because he truly speaks for the American people.
He does. I think a lot of people, I mean, he's like really the only person I see speaking out on it, about this issue, and just, like at least on that front. I see a couple others here and there, but like they're kind of like pussyfooting around the issue, if you excuse my language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, you're
absolutely.
doing good, Stephen. Yeah. We are the vanguard. We are the citizens. I've always believed that the vanguard is the sovereigns of the nation to protect our kids, our children, and the generations to come. I've written a book about it called The Promise. The sacrifice that the founders, the militias, the Continental Army, the farmers, the pitchforkers, the people who were there at the beginning, when they say, we're not going to take this no more. We threw the tea in the Boston Harbor, the Stamp Act, all of the things that King George was doing. Then they started killing the farmers and they killing our people. And then the people rebelled. And, we're at a point in time now where rebellion is action. That's the way I see this.
Right. No, and civil disobedience too. But it's just, we got to look at what's happening, folks. History is repeating itself all over again.
Yes,
okay?
It is.
And we need to recognize that and stand up and fight for our rights, for our kids' rights, for our fellow American, our fellow human beings' rights. We have to do this. Otherwise, we're not going to have any future to look forward to, because there won't be any freedom, period.
Right. Exactly. And this is exactly why I'm here, Stephen, and I know you're here, and I know Amber is here. It's unfortunate we've had to be here. I was intending to retire in the Bahamas, and that didn't work out because of my mother's case. She was murdered in a nursing home in Arizona, and I'm the trustee, and I'm after these bastards. And we shall prevail. We shall prevail, people. It is our time to prevail, and
it's our time to reclaim our humanity as well.
Well, that's it. And hastening one's death is murder, and as a consequence, there's a lot of guilt to be shared amongst government officials and agencies who are unaccountable to anyone. And whether they believe it or not, they are accountable to God, and God is not mocked, and they shall reap what they sow.
They will be held accountable by we the people, because we the people are the ones they're supposed to be representing, and they're not representing us or our interests. They've gone completely off the rails. So what do you do in a situation like that?
You do exactly
what we're doing. Right, exactly. We put pressure on these bastards. Did you know the original purpose of the freedom of the press was to check and balance government officials and keep the eyes on them so that they would stay in line. That was its initial function. It's supposed to be part of the checks and balances, And then what we've seen over the last several decades is the Mockingbird media has completely lost their way and stopped being objective, and so then it's fallen to people like me and others that are doing work like me in the alternative media, or what I like to call the new media. Somebody's got to do it, but we're effectively doing it. I'm covering the school boards here locally that are racketeering the sped money. They know we're watching them. They're scared.
Good. I'm happy, and they got to keep scared. The situation in Europe, the governments are afraid of the people there. Here, the people are afraid of their government. That's bullshit. We got to change that now, people.
People should never be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their peoples.
That's it. We got to put the fear of God back in this country. That if they cross the line, that's treason and that's death. And as far as I'm concerned, Guantanamo Bay is waiting for them. FEMA barges, military tribunals, and as far as I'm concerned, executions. Because we have to set the precedent. They have committed so many felonies every day, and
they're just skating on by like nothing happened. Exactly. How is this even right? It's almost like everybody's been sold out. Everybody sold us out, and they ain't position of power that could do anything about it.
Yes, I agree. But there are millions of us compared to them.
There are.
So now it comes down to this. We the people. That's what Pam Sullivan, who is our Florida campaign manager, has created out there in Florida. We the people must get educated, become the candidates, win the elections. We are the Americans, and go into the Congress, the state houses, and the local governments and change this from within regarding law enforcement as well as representation, and bring in living wage jobs.
Yep.
Yes. And it's always supposed to have been that way, Dennis, that was our constitutional rights, and somehow, the American people backed off on that. we don't work for them. They work for us. We pay them. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have a job,
Right.
and it's we the people that make the decisions. That's how it was supposed to be when, my ancestors were president. So I don't know where things got off track, but
Right.
when you're able to control the masses, it's devastating.
Definitely.
I think this has happened, and I think we got hijacked at least as early as since the Federal Reserve came into existence. So 1871, at least since then, I believe. We're just now waking up to it, I think.
We got
But
tricked.
since then, it's been all a dog and pony show.
Right. We've been tricked by this government, from UFOs to the Federal Reserve to Title 4E to 9/11 to what's going on right now in Iraq, as well as in other parts of Europe, including Ukraine and Russia. The realities are the American people have a right to know. We have a right to know, and we have a right to correct. We are the vanguard. That's what the Campaign for America is about, and get our people in the position to get educated in what needs to get done and become the candidates to win elections. And the Americans are coming. We are the white states. You have the blue states. You have the red states. Well, guess what? Now you have the white states. We are the Americans. Family first. If you're not working for your family, who are you fighting for? If you're not fighting for your family, who are you working for?
Right.
Period.
Absolutely.
And all these issues must come to the table. It's one thing to talk big like Donald Trump. It's another thing to really put it to work and do it. And that's where I come in. I will do it. Believe me. I am a disciple of Jesus Christ. I am telling you where I'm at and how I got here. And this is the reality of being in the mix of history. And I believe we must act now. We are acting now. And we will have these airport rallies in Florida that will kick off.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It will kick off the 2024 campaign. We'll have 2 years. And we will change America forever, because this is not dependent upon Dennis Ball. This is dependent upon the education, knowledge, and truth of what I have written and how I have gone. Nobody has thought about this stuff the way I have. And it came straight from God himself, because I asked him to show me what to do.
Absolutely.
So I am very confident that he will bring about the change in the people, because the knowledge and the truth, and those who listen to the truth and who receive the truth, it will work in their soul. Remember this: we are made in the image of God. We have a spiritual aspect to our being. And when the truth comes into fruition, into the knowledge, it's when it's captured out there, when you hear it, this is how Jesus was able to get the attention of the people. No one ever spoke like him during that period.
Yeah.
Right.
The situation is, Pilate asked him, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the truth." And so, that's an existential concept that he created there. But the realities are, he is the truth, and he did not commit any blasphemous crime, because he was and is God himself. And so that's pretty powerful, people. And regardless of what your attitudes are about Jesus Christ, these are the things that we are about to change in America. The church has not done its business. I hate to say that.
Well, he's right on that. They have not. They've actually colluded with these agencies a lot of the time. I've noticed.
Absolutely.
Churches.
Exactly. The death and resurrection of Christ was real. And I don't want to get off on that, because I want her to continue on with her story. Go for it.
Yes, go for it, Amber. We'd love to hear more.
No, I just wanted to make a comment on what Dennis Ball had said, and it does begin from there. When the state took the religion out, that's where things started getting tricky. They were able to manipulate, but the people are ready. The people know what's going on. The people know about Jeffrey Epstein and, all these other horrific cases.
It's
undeniable.
It really is undeniable. You're right. And you know what I've noticed? I've noticed that the vast majority of people are awake, but the problem is not that people aren't, it's that people don't know who they can trust or talk to. I've noticed that I've had to gauge certain neighbors to see where they were at for some of these issues, only to find out that they were gauging me too. So like I think that's why we're seeing such a disconnect, is because people don't know who they can trust because of how they've gone and divided us the last couple of years, and now it's like, whoa, what's going on here? It's made everybody second guess what they can talk about because of it. You got to be, so you got to gauge it now. And so I think that's ultimately the dynamic has changed. But I think that the fact that we have a slogan called "Let's Go Brandon" says a lot about how many people are awake, considering it's a poke at two different aspects of society that we're not happy with,
Absolutely. And what do we do? There's a lot of things that we have tried to do. I know that in my own personal case, I knew the corruption was there. I could prove the falsification of paperwork or destruction of paperwork that was in there. I've also went to Tallahassee DCF Quality Control, which is supposed to be the checks and balances of the CPS system here in Florida, who they awarded me and said they seen the corruption as well. Awarded me a meeting. The state attorney found out about it and shut it down. And after that, nobody would speak to me anymore. It's about keep taking it higher. We can't shut up. Our constitutional rights are being broken here.
Oh my God, in so many ways.
Oh yeah, and our ADA rights are being broken. We've actually made a breakthrough. We've talked to Washington, D.C., the DOJ, who is now investigating in different states the retaliation of CPS, and they're making them do these lawsuits. And so we're hoping that we can find more out with that. I believe it's going to help a lot of these families, and not just the families. You wouldn't believe the good foster parents that are speaking up and that are being retaliated against.
No, I've heard some of those stories too. We have a young lady by the name of Jessica Durham who's with Wolfpack, and she's doing a lot of the advocate work and stuff like that. And she was telling us about that the other day. They have some foster parents that were like they got through to on this, and they were like they agreed there's something not right there with that. Are you there, Amber?
We may have lost her there. I don't know.
I think she went off camera. Maybe she got a call or something.
Okay, no problem. Folks, we've got problems here in this country.
Oh, there she
you
is.
back, Amber?
Speaking, okay. And he's petrified that the Guardian Ad Litem program is going to come back and kill him. And he's said many times they're like a mafia. The point is, our children don't belong in this environment. I don't know. What parent or sane person would put a child in this environment. Children do not belong in the court system. Yes, we do have parents that unfortunately just should not be parents, and there's a criminal justice system for that. But for the kids that are being taken that should not be taken, they're being taken for profit. It's $1 billion.
Yeah, they are.
It's not just a problem here in Florida. It's a problem not just
globally.
In part of the United States.
It's a global problem. Yeah. AFCC.net. You ever read that by Doreen Ludwig? I recommend that. They're the agency that that's basically making the rule books for all these other ones, in the States and also overseas too, in like the UK. We interviewed somebody from the UK a few months back, and they're having the same problem.
I'm a part of some of those groups on Facebook with the UK, and it is almost as big as it is here in the United States. They're using the same tactics across the board, and it's some people will say, you know, why does everybody have the same story, or why is it always the same tactic? You know what? Because it works. And until we stop allowing it to work, it's going to keep happening. You know, and everybody can't have the same story. Everybody's not abusing their kids. It's just not possible, you know.
Right. A lot of these cases are being fixed.
We have alarming evidence that it's not happening. And when you're removing these children, it's causing psychological, irreparable damage, not only to the children, but to the family dynamic.
Totally. I mean, it's such an appalling situation. I can tell you right now, if this had happened to me when I was these children's age, I probably would have committed suicide.
Oh my God, the level of trauma they're putting these kids through is ridiculous.
Well, that's traumatic.
It's sad, Dennis, because not only a lot of our children are committing suicide within the foster care system, but we know that a lot of our parents are as well.
Yes, exactly. This is a ploy right out of the Nazi playbook to destroy our nation from within. And that's why we're here, folks. We're going to do what we have to do to stop it. And the best way, because look at it this way, if the country burns down or burned down, we still would be facing the same issues. How do you have a good country, a good government? You have educated people who go in, win elections, and keep the policies of the nation for the family. Family, traditional family, moms, dads, and kids. Yep. That is the position of the AOA. All this other stuff, that's their opinions. They do what they want. We don't approve it, but we are not allowing it in our party. This is a party for the family, the traditional nuclear family that will sustain the policies that made our nation great and still can and will, because we are here to restore America, people. We are getting signs that say that as well, and will be printed and published at our rallies.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
I am excited on that score. And we are planning these things. And this is the beginning now for the real campaign for America to take off. Where do you find an airplane?
At
an airport.
Absolutely.
It's wanted. And I just want to encourage the viewers that, everybody has a part to play in this. You'll see me say it a lot on my pages. What will yours be? This is not a personal problem. This is not a parent problem. This is America's problem. These are our children that they are using for the benefit of money. They are trafficking these children out of the country. We have proof on that. And we need to keep our kids home, Dennis, and we need to protect our family. I encourage everybody to get involved whatever state you're in. Find an organization near you. We need people that are going to vote. We need people that are going to get into offices. We need the citizens in the offices. We need bills made. We need, petitions going around. And that's essentially where it starts. We can talk all day long. Everybody knows what's happening here is wrong. I believe, even animals know this is wrong. You don't take an animal's child and expect them to be civil, because it doesn't work like that. And we know that. So we got to get down to the nitty gritty. A lot of people don't like to get involved in politics, but that's essentially what it comes down to.
Necessity at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to get into the offices. We have to vote. We have to make change so we can be heard.
Yes, I agree. And
I agree. It's going to be we, the people, need to fill these positions because these career politicians have abused their power.
Definitely. And they are into it also for power and control, I believe, of the people, even though the money is there for them, quote unquote. They are also demonic.
Well, look what they've done. These bullshit mandates and lockdowns.
Precisely. Oh, yeah. And the pandemic was part of this problem to create these kind of power and controls over the American people. And as far as I'm concerned, the Gates Foundation was created to kill us. Agenda 21, people.
Oh, yeah. People need to be aware of this stuff. I mean, the proof is out there. They're not hiding it at all. They're posting about it in a lot of cases.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. They're putting it out there. The people are
That's
choosing
right.
to not take them seriously for whatever reason. They're letting us know what they're doing. It's on paper. You guys, I encourage everybody to go Google what we're talking about. You can see for yourself.
Yep.
Inform your own opinion. And, you know, and I really speak to everybody on this. It's not just about the children. We know in adult protective services, they're stealing our loved ones, our parents, our grandparents, and these guys are abused. They're not held medically responsible when our loved ones are dead. You know, and it's an atrocity on that area too. So we stand with everyone on this.
Exactly.
Yes,
I tell you what, as president of the United States, I will decree that those who are suspect of these type of crimes are going down to Guantanamo Bay for trial. I'm serious about this, people. It is time we
That's
take
what
the
needs to
gloves
happen.
off and get it done. You hear me? We're getting this done now. Now.
Well, and that's how it was supposed to be. It needs to happen. It should have already been happening. Anybody that would do this would have already been charged with treason and
Right.
you know, humanitarian rights violations, you know, and they need to be held accountable. And you're right, it was a pandemic, and it was a way to see if they could control the population and who was going to listen.
Hey, have you seen that documentary Plandemic Indoctrination?
Yes.
Okay, well, you should check out our launch article, because I went through and did the only honest fact check on the internet, and I verified virtually 98% of every source in that documentary, and I got clickable time codes for each piece of evidence. You can click on it it's right below the video. On each, it's like 4 parts. It was so big of an article. I had to do it in 4 parts, but it's really thorough, and I recommend you check it out, because you can see all the proof for yourself. Everything that they've covered in that documentary, you can click the links and go check it out for yourself. It's all there. The proof is all right there, folks.
Exactly. Stephen, I praise God for you. You are such a good soul for all of the work that you have done, and you're just a nose to the news. And so are you, Amber. And I congratulate both of you for being here with us and moving this campaign forward.
It's certainly been an honor.
Definitely. I put the link in the chat, but it's also on our description if you want to go check out our site and look at that, because I think you might find it useful. I found that it's useful as a red pill tool for most people, for most normies.
Very good. Okay, well, look at, can we get this so we can put it on Facebook, Stephen?
It's already on Facebook. It's live. We're live right now. We've been streaming. I've also got it posted on the homepage of the News for Us. I usually normally try to embed every live stream we do on the homepage so everybody can see it, because that's where we get the most traffic.
Okay. All right. Well,
just while we're on, if I want to let everybody know that we are having a rally November 16th, 2022 from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Likes Park in Tampa. We're going to have many great speakers, including Megan Walsh, Ira Patakowitz, Family Forward Foundation will be there. It's being sponsored by Hearts on Divided. We just invite everybody to come out, support your local community, support these children. There'll be petitions there for everybody to sign, and we'll be potentially in about 5 or 6 more places. Correct, Dennis?
Yes, we're going all over Florida, particularly Highway 4, Orlando. We'll go up to Broward County, Fort Lauderdale Airport. We'll go to probably Leesburg, because that's real close to Pam. We will also go to Tampa and St. Pete, Clearwater. It's on. And from there, the media will be so engrossed with us that it will provide the support to move west and move south, where it's cool, where it's warmer. The northern states is going to be colder because of winter. And then it will provide us then the opportunity to go north in the spring. Praise God.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
So there you have it. Please show up, guys. Tampa, Florida, November 16th, 12 to 4, and you'll have all your information there. Come out and support us. We're definitely trying to make a movement for these children.
Definitely. Go out and show your support, folks, for Amber and everything she's trying to do out there. and show your support for everything that we're all trying to do. We're trying to reach people. We're trying to get the real news out there, the news that we can back up with facts and proof, which we've been doing, which is the cornerstone of our reporting standards. We base it as if we were in a court of law, a common court, having to meet the burden of proof. That's how we approach our reporting, folks. And I think that's critical. People understand that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Don't take my word for it. Look into it yourself. Make up your own mind.
Yes, it's all out there. It's endless Google searches. It's not hard to find. A couple stats just for Florida. I know in Tampa we had a pastor that was a foster father, molested all of his girls, foster children, was put in jail, and we haven't heard anything about it. We need the news coverage here.
It does need to be covered, that kind of stuff.
It's happening at alarming rates. I just got word yesterday that there was another child that was molested or sexually abused in one of the foster homes out in Hillsborough.
Wow.
So this is something that's happening all the time, and it's time to get active. It's time to get active. There's no excuses anymore.
No, there's really not.
You can.
The time for apathy is over, folks.
You don't unsee child abuse and or any abuse, and so if you don't talk about it, you are the problem. So please come forward when you know these things. If you want to share your story, there's many people out here with platforms that are giving these people voices today. Find one that you like, and I encourage you to share, because it is absolutely could save another parent's life, another child's life.
Absolutely. And on that note, one of our highest priorities is the protection and anonymity of our interviewees if they so desire to be anonymous. So we can do that for anybody that wants to speak out too. We don't necessarily need to know or put your name out there. We're trying to get the stories out there so people know how bad this is, and how rampant it is.
Yes,
I agree. And we are the solution in the mainstream now. And I appreciate the opportunity to partner with you, Stephen. I'm looking for other people like Dan Bongino down in Florida.
Oh, I'd love to interview him one of these days. That would be great.
Right, Dan Bongino. Also Chris Plant at WMAL in DC. Would love that opportunity also. Interviews. I'm being very selective on who we communicate with, at least for myself, because I've seen a lot of these other people, and I'm not saying they're no good, but they just don't think that they have the same interests. I think some of them are part of the corporate media. The corporate media doesn't want this information to be spread, and consequently, this is why we're here. We're here to finish this, as you have so aptly said, Stephen.
Yep.
To finish.
We're going to finish this. As I told my uncle before he passed, he said, everything we fought for was for nothing. And I said, no, Uncle, it wasn't. My generation's going to finish this. And he said, I hope so. And I said, I know so.
We know so. And it's almost there, Stephen. We're so close. And that's why we need the American people to step up now. We've done all the work. We just need the numbers behind us to say, hey,
absolutely.
It's done.
Yes, I agree.
We need unity, and we need to back each other up, folks.
Well, that's it. And, Amber, before we go here, there's a saying that when you need it, they will come. And of course, when you build it, they will come. Right. And the people that need to be seen by us are coming. And that is what is beautiful with our relationship with the Almighty, that He brings the people to a point where they hang on the precipice. They hang on the precipice. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yes.
Klaatu asked the professor. He actually says the problem is not your planet. The problem is you. and the professor says, I know that. And he says, as if we have to be on the precipice of the problem in order for the problem to be handled and changed. And I think we're right there.
I agree.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank you for showing up, Amber, and telling your story briefly. And I'll be in touch on Dennis. Would you put me in contact with her when we get done with the show? When we end the live?
Absolutely. I'm sure she's be okay with that. You bet. I mean, this is the real deal. I've been through this before. I've been doing this for 10 years to get this campaign off the ground. I mean, really off the ground. And it's now here. And these times we're living right now will determine what will happen to our children in the future. And I am committed to seeing that good things happen to them, for them, as well as for the parents and for the nation. And there's other people out here in the world, 193 nations. If we do this here in America, why can't we do it there too?
Right. Absolutely. So we're gonna wrap it up with your outro sequence with your little promo I put together for your store. So let's do that real quick, and then we will call it a wrap. It was a great show today, you guys. Great show.
Thank you, Stephen.
Again, thanks so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. I'll have Dennis send you my contact info in a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Very good. Wow, that's awesome.